Good evening and welcome to our 1000 subs Movie Watch Live celebration live stream. Tonight, we'll be watching what is widely considered to be the finest British movie ever made, The Third Man, from 1949, based on a novel by Graham Greene and directed by Carol Reed. It stars Orson Welles, Joseph Cotton, and Alida Valli. It's set in the disjointed world of post-war Vienna around the time the movie was actually made in 1948, and shows the period of time dominated by the black market, filled with crime, corruption, and political intrigue as the Cold War starts in earnest and the Iron Curtain begins to fall across Europe. With me tonight, as usual, are my co-hosts Ralph, they call me Ralph, and Flash, Elrodimus Flash. Firstly, let's welcome Ralph, who tonight joins us as Major Call Away Me Ralph. Sorry for how tenuous that is, but good evening, Ralph. How are you doing? In the movie before?
Hey, Lemmy Pete, I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate you guys not having any videos while I was away on my vacation. I'm happy to say rehab has gone well. Yeah. I'm doing
I can see you wearing a duffel coat and you're in the sewers somewhere there.
Well, it's pretty fitting and accurate for where I am at the moment.
So, I don't think you've seen this movie before. What kind of thing are you expecting from it?
You know what? I don't know. I'm expecting some kind of spy thriller. Mm-hmm. I figure I will probably have a difficult time figuring out what's going on, and I'll have lots of dumb questions, but I'm looking forward to it. Very excited.
It's a fast-paced movie, and it's really dense in terms of, there's a lot of layers in it, but
well, it's British, so
but I think it's the cinematography and the scenery and the acting carry it so well. I mean, everything about it is so smooth that nobody should have a problem watching this movie. It's so well made.
Oh yeah.
And do you know anything about this period of history? Post-war Austria, post-war Europe, just before the Russians built the wall?
Not a lot. Basically I have kind of I don't want to say a blank in history, but my focus varied, after World War II, before the Cold War really kicked off. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of in that gray area as the Soviets were building up.
I think that's one of the points of the movie, that it is one of those gray areas. It's a bit like the Dark Ages. It's just like transitionary period where there's more myth than truth. There's more disinformation than fact, which was deliberately done as the Iron Curtain descended.
Exactly.
It is an absolute treat, and as somebody who hasn't seen it before, you're gonna really enjoy it. I'll guarantee that for you.
I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also tonight, let's say hello to our other co-host, Flash, or Rodimus Flash, or should I say Flashy Martin's well-known Western author. Good evening, Flash. How are you doing? Have you seen this movie before?
It's a movie I know I've seen in bits and pieces. I probably saw it long before my memory goes. Mm-hmm. And I've owned books about this movie.
Look at you two hoity-toity highbrow guys. Fine. I'll just go back and watch Young Frankenstein.
I had to select something fitting for our 1,000 subs.
Good job, Stewie.
Yes.
Pip, pip, ho, and all that rot.
Absolutely. So I should really be drinking Pims or something at this point. But
there you go. Yeah. Lois, get the fat man out here.
But yeah, this movie really is one of those rare occasions when we talk about alchemy, which is when everything comes together perfectly, and it's a group effort. Everybody's brilliant at what they do. and then there's unknown elements that just work perfectly. As if it's an example I would say is like, when a photographer gets the perfect shot, it just works. And the thing about this movie is it's telling a story based in the past, but really the filming of this movie is 1948. So really it's totally contemporaneous with the world it was showing. They actually filmed it at the time these things happened. 1 year after this movie was being made, and a month after it was actually released at the cinema, East Germany became officially Soviet. It became, well, on the outside it was German, but we know it was owned by the Soviets, the GDR.
Oh, right, yeah.
So and then shortly after that, the wall went up. So this was made at the time these things were going on, which is why the people you see in the film are really soldiers, really policemen, the real people who were there at the time, and probably a few real gangsters as well. So it's so authentic, it's unbelievable. So anyway, as usual, this is a commentary show. So you won't see the movie here because YouTube would remove us for saying the word buttered toast backwards.
Not only that, they would pull us from my trailer, beat the bottoms of my feet, and take my moonshine away. So therefore,
that's shocking.
This is commentary. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Slide whistle.
I can do an R2D2, but that's not appropriate for this. This
no,
stream.
You get a strike for that.
That would definitely be. I'm sorry, that's copyrighted.
You can appeal the decision by sending this email that will never be acknowledged.
Write your appeal on the back of a $50 note. So, without further ado, like I was saying, commentary show. We won't be showing the movie, but we'll be talking about it. We've got our own copy. It's widely available. One of the things I was talking about before the show started was that this movie went out of copyright. It was out there. Anybody could copy it and reproduce it. So there was no copyright on it until eventually, Studio Canal got it back and all that and the other. So if you've got a copy, you can watch it with us. If you just want to listen to us talking about it, that's great. But just let you know at the outset. So what we'll do is we'll synchronize our copy of the movie. If you've got a copy at home, you can start playing that at the same point. And so you'll be watching what we're watching when we're talking about it. And so far, 1,000 people like that idea. Something's got to be right about all this. Of course, it's not me people tune in for. It's Ralph and Flash.
I don't want to brag, and I know Flash,
but
it's the slide whistle, absolutely,
exactly. But I also need to doff the cap to all the other people who've been part of the show, over the last year and a half, 2 years almost going on for now, and those people, hopefully we can get back on another show soon because we're going to do another few of these celebration streams. And we say thank you to people like Carl Hungus and also Aldous Huxley, and also even guests that we've had on. Many guests actually over the past few months at least, who are mostly comic book artists, and that's a hard industry to be in.
Absolutely.
But Brian Shearer was one of them, and who else did we have? The artist of Kiri, Matt Krotz, and also
Matt.
Who else have we had on? I'm sure we've had other people on as guests as well.
Unfortunately, I drink a lot, so I don't remember the guests.
Yeah, exactly.
I love them deeply in my heart, but it's like I meet a new friend every time. Speaking of drinking, there we go.
There we are. So let's get started. So I've got my copy In fact, I'm going to show you a new toy I've discovered on here, gentlemen.
Ooh.
Can you see that little tracker on the bottom? Ticker tracker.
Oh, yes.
Buy pork bellies, $20 a pound. Something
Pork
like
bellies, $20 a pound. Come on.
Now I'm starting to think of trading places.
Ooh, there you go.
That's a good one for your channel.
Yes,
definitely do that, Ralph. That's what we're gonna do for your
It
channel.
has boobies.
Yeah, it does.
So.
In a way, you could say.
Yeah, it's got some.
Yeah. So there you are. So I've got mine on Amazon. My copy of the movie on Amazon, and I'm going to get it started now. And as usual, what we'll do is a countdown: 3, 2, 1. Then we'll say go, and from there we'll be synchronized the movie. And throughout the movie, we'll give time indexes so you know where we are in the movie, and also we'll describe what's going on in the movie as well. And that's that. So I'm just about ready to start my movie, gentlemen. Have you got yours ready?
I am primed and ready to go.
Come on, rewind.
Cool.
Rewind.
It will not go to the beginning.
Oh no! Flash's VHS tape.
Oh, has it got a
broke.
VHS?
Why did I get Betamax?
Oh. Hold on a minute.
What the heck?
Hold on. Hang on. Hey.
Attention trailer park residents. There will be a slight delay as Flash rewinds his video cassette. Please stand by.
Spooling tape now.
Yeah, whatever happened to Be Kind Rewind, Flash? Come on, baby.
Yeah.
I lost that little Pontiac Fiero rewinder machine.
Oh man.
Oh, dude. Man,
But the beta still works. Oh, come on.
the beta still works. There you go.
No, it's because I'm on YouTube and
It
Oh.
knows.
feature
It
no longer works.
It knows.
Yeah,
You go forward, you
knows.
can't go back.
It knows.
You know,
So,
well, beta was the superior format anyway.
was it though?
Yes, it was. Because it gave a slightly less crappy display than the VHS copies.
Well, that's it though, isn't it? If you look at the history of industry, it's not necessarily the best version of an invention that becomes popular.
Oh,
It's
no.
about who's got the money in it, and if you know.
Which I actually have a VCR in my office in here in the bunker.
Yeah.
And I need to break one out. I have a video capture device.
Uh-huh.
I should break it out, do a VHS rip of one, and just go wild. It's just finding one that won't get me struck somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any version of anything that won't get you struck now on YouTube.
No, I could probably put up a home video and somebody would file a strike on it.
Yeah. Well, they probably would because they would be in the background somewhere mowing the lawn or something. Hey,
Yes,
guy,
exactly.
I'm in the background. That's
me in the
copyright.
thought.
Hey, you guys, you can't. Well, that's my cousin Luwinta.
That's my car.
That's my car. Yes, exactly.
I've been watching these as we wait patiently for Flash. The appropriately named Flash. Who?
Yeah, I'm already 10 minutes ahead of everyone else in the movie.
You just have to wait. You have to wait for us to catch up.
Oh man! So you can't just pause it. We'll catch up to you if you want to do it that
That's
way.
what I'm going to do once I can get to the place where I can pause.
Yeah, but
Oh, come on.
oh, completely. What I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was watching. I was watching this guy who does like he finds barn find old cars. It's amazing stuff, and he comes from Maine. And I'm now fascinated with the Maine accent.
Oh, yes, the main accent is
Like,
quite
Taking the car to the
unique.
park.
Yes,
Car.
it's
All right,
like
I'll join you when Vienna pops on screen right after the credits.
Okay. Yeah, the main
Right.
accent is like a rural version of Boston.
Yeah.
So it's like
Isn't it?
it's like redneck Boston.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's like they're holding like a golf ball in their mouth. Wah,
And
wah, wah, wah,
now
like
I'll
that.
tell you, it's
That's a storm
beautiful.
coming, Ma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
beautiful country up there.
Over them clouds,
Beautiful.
looks like a storm a coming.
Yeah, I heard like real estate up there is ridiculously pricey.
Probably so, but let me tell you, if you go in the summer, fantastic. If you go in the winter, you've got about
it's like the day after
5 feet
tomorrow,
of
isn't
snow.
it?
Yes.
It's like wolves, bears,
Yeah,
wildebeest.
I have fond memories because I went in the summer. So
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, it basically looks like the home counties. It looks like England, which is why it's called New England, isn't it? Or is that another
yes.
state?
Yeah, that's part of New England. Beautiful, beautiful country, Atlantic coast, cliffs, lighthouses, and people that say, "Oh, you're an out of towner, huh?" So, and me coming in there, "Oh, hi, man. I'm coming into town for a job. I'm looking for the restaurant."
And I would probably not be understood by anybody.
Oh, probably not.
It's all
like,
funny. You're an outsider.
You an outsider?
You were one of those Australian guys.
Hey, and a hot tip for you, Pete. If you ever go into Bangor, be sure to ask everybody where Stephen King's house is. They love that.
Yeah,
They do.
They love that.
We have a Bangor over here, actually.
Oh yeah, well,
it's all you've nicked all our place names. You've got Manchester, Norfolk,
yeah,
all sorts of places. There's about 10 Norfolks,
dude. We've got Paris, Texas. Boston,
that's a good movie,
Texas.
actually. That is such a good movie.
Oh
Paris,
yeah,
Texas.
actually, yeah.
And the music by Ry Cooder with the bottleneck slide guitar.
Dude,
brilliant
we've stolen everything we can possibly steal. So, but we gave you guys cowboys.
It's like the people that settled brought the names with them, and they're like, "Well, we couldn't think of anything new, so we'll just use the names from back home." Man.
Yeah,
no one will know this, right?
That's typically English, though. Wherever the English go, they're not where they are.
New South Wales.
That's it. It's just we are still at home. We deny the fact completely that we're in the other side of the planet. This is our home. We're going to just call it, the same name.
Hey,
look at these palm trees.
We
these
gave you
fish.
cowboys.
It reminds me of Wales. We will call it New South Wales.
Yeah, South Wales, of course.
And there's no way Wales would ever be as hot as New South Wales. I know. I used to live in New South Wales.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's beautiful country, but it gets so hot. But it's humid heat,
Oh yeah,
really humid. So while we're waiting for Flash, just
ready.
a quick. Oh, he's ready.
Okay, you're ready.
Yeah, I can jump in whenever you see Vienna pop on screen right after the credits.
Okay,
right.
so
Sounds
we're going to
good.
tell Flash that we can see the word Vienna on the screen, and I'm going to start. So you're going to synchronize with me, Ralph.
Yep.
And then we'll tell Flash when we can see the word Vienna. Are you ready? Ready, Ralph?
I am ready.
Okay, so for the benefit of me and Ralph and the audience, I'll count down now, and then we're going to say, "Oh, Vienna."
Okay.
People my age know what that song was. Right, so ready, Ralph? 3, 2, 1, go. So I've got the Studio Canal thing going on here.
Yep. Same here.
And I love that intro, man. I love the music for this. One of the nicest intros ever, Studio Canal.
Yeah, it is nice and colorful, creative.
It's another movie where the soundtrack is just as well known as the movie.
Yes,
not more.
exactly. The soundtrack is a character in the movie, and also the city of Vienna is a character as well. The backdrop.
I just passed the British
London Film
censor.
Production.
There we go. I'm with you.
And now I've got the zither. And here is the famous, very famous music by Anton Karas, which was he was an unknown, by the way, before the director Carol Reed discovered him.
Needs some fiddle.
He became an overnight success, a very rich person, and he retired back to Vienna and opened a nightclub called The Third Man. So
really?
There's a complete cycle for you. The circle is complete. Robert Krasker is the main film director, cinematographer, who's responsible for the amazing, what you call the Dutch angle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Throughout the movie. So it's basically known by the as we said before the show, we're talking about Citizen Kane, we're talking about expressionist cinematography, the stark black and white colors, and the jaunty angle is what you call the Dutch angle. And that was all Krasker's responsibility. He got an Oscar for that. It was the only Oscar that the movie got for cinematography.
And you know, the Dutch angle is just kind of disconcerting. I'm trying to think. That made a big comeback
Vienna,
a few years ago. Oh, Vienna. Oh, where'd Flash go?
Oh, he's gone completely.
He's gone.
We'll have to wait for him to come back. So we're getting the intro. This is actually Carol Reed, the director, narrating. Can you see the body floating in the river there? That's a little bit of a Chekhov's gun, that. But
oh, there you go. Yeah.
So he's given this introduction. This was cut in the American version of the movie because Selznick, the producer, who made so many bad decisions, but thankfully wasn't allowed to carry through most of his decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Thought the audience were too dumb to understand this intro, so he got it cut from the movie.
Kill figure.
So, do you know what I mean? So, so here we go. So he's telling the story about another. He's a racketeer. He's telling the story about Holly Martin's, whose own story about he was going to meet Harry Lime. So it's a story within a story within a story again.
Oh, whoa! I don't know if I can handle a story within a story within a story.
So this is Holly Martin's, played by Joseph Cotton. As you know, Joseph Cotton and Orson Welles worked together for years beforehand. They knew each other so well, and they worked together really well. And of course, they both appeared in Citizen Kane prior to this movie.
There you go. And I'm assuming this is since this is Vienna, we're looking at post-World War II reconstruction as well.
Well, funny you should say that. One of the amazing things about this movie is that some of it was filmed in Shepperton. Like, I'm pretty sure this was a Shepperton studio set.
Okay.
But most of it, in fact, actually, I think this is actually authentic. Most of it was filmed in Vienna, about 85% of it. Yeah, this is a real hotel in Vienna. And most of it was filmed in Vienna, and it's all authentic, and that's what gives it a real feel, you know, that it's the real scenery, it's the real buildings. It's
exactly.
It's not like this shaky film set, you know.
Yeah, they're not bumping into the walls and seeing the frames rattle and stuff like that.
We've got Sierra Whiskey.
Yeah, Sierra Whiskey.
Nice
hey,
to see
buddy.
you, SW.
And yeah, congrats on the milestone, dude. Yeah, and it's your hard work, Pete.
Well, I can't
Thank
take
you,
the credit.
everybody.
It's the people who have helped me get there, you know. So
you are far too kind. You know, we appreciate all of the fans that tune in live and afterwards, and you know. But the thing is it's the genius of Pete holding it all together.
I won't be able to get my head out the doorway now.
Hey, man, truth is truth. I just take wheels off trailers in Bedford, Texas. So
Well, I'm too busy bounty hunting to do shows more regularly. So
you and Baby Yoda, man, those are some happy-looking guys.
Hey, you've never had to change Baby Yoda's nappies. I'm telling you now.
I can imagine he eats frogs, man.
It's mean. It really is. So here we are at the funeral of Harry Lime, and these two here that you've seen are the doctor, and also you've got Ernst Deutsch, who plays Baron Kurtz, and these are just erstwhile members of the underground in Vienna, the very dodgy characters, and yep, indeed. I've got to put that on the screen.
Yes,
Bones.
Yeah. Well, you know, the idea SW is you know, we take the wheels off and the trailer stays in place, although we have had to take them out for a drag every now and then.
Yeah, I'm loving Major Callaway, me Ralph. I'm loving your polished leather overcoat. It looks almost Gestapo-esque.
Well, you know, we did pick up a few fashion trends from the Germans during the war.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, politics not so great, but you know, fashion. Yeah, it's snazzy.
Snazzy. It's the snazzy Stasi. I'm here all week. Don't forget to tip the waiters.
Tip the waiters. Absolutely.
To the buffet. Shrimps are on special. So here they are. I mean, Major Calloway's picked up Holly Martins to sort of. Holly doesn't know this, but they were investigating Harry Lime, and he wants to know what Holly knows and why he's there. And so Holly's supposed to be there to get work from Harry Lime, and because Harry's dead, he might as well go home now, and that's what they're telling him to do.
And I'm using whiskey, my most powerful weapon.
Now, one of his novels is The Lone Rider of Santa Fe. Santa Fe is in Texas, isn't it?
Yes, it is. No. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Is it?
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've forgotten my geography.
That's quite all right. Whiskey tends to do that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't feel my face right now. I apologize.
That's all right. I think Flash is gone. Oh, sorry, Flash. I didn't. Oh, God.
There you go.
I've got the thing minimized, right?
I was yelling. You couldn't hear me.
And I couldn't.
I'm in the back room.
No.
Hey, man,
screen.
I'm hammered. I can't run this by myself.
Ow. So Holly Martins is pie-eyed, and this is Sergeant Payne.
Oh. He later became Major Payne after a promotion?
Yeah, in the ass.
Under him is corporal punishment and private parts.
General discontent.
Corporal punishment.
Admiral discomfort.
Oh, there we go. So sucked to the face there. Now that's Sergeant Payne's just sucked him in the mouth there, but basically the audience is seeing the military police there as absolute bastards, really. But we get to find out why them being so severe later in the movie. Because Holly, we're seeing it from Holly's point of view, and Holly just doesn't have a clue what's going on at all. He's totally ignorant. Here's Wilfred Hyde White.
Yes!
My gosh, I think she's got it.
The man who ruined Buck Rogers.
Yeah, he's like the archetypal English.
I built a robot even more annoying than Tweaky.
Yes.
Okay, now I have to hit X to doubt on that. Come on, man. Doogie. Oh no! Oh no! Sierra's going back into his days in the service. Oh Lord!
Yes, private dancer. Oh yeah, I know about all the wet mops and everything.
Bet he worked for general admission.
Oh please. Oh, but yeah. So the character of that Wilfred Hyde White's playing Crabbin is totally ignorant of all of the crime that's actually going on right around him, and he's one of these people who he's from the old world before the war in Vienna, and he just wants to sort of talk about book reviews and live the kind of old style life that used to exist that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And I can understand that.
Hot mops. Here comes Baron Kurtz.
You have a ways of making you talk on the telephone.
Why do you hold the phone so strangely, Mr. Captain?
I like to hold my phone cocked.
Right, man. Dance is dance.
Lone Rider of Santa Fe.
Later on, his son would go on to make the TV show Sprockets. Touch my monkey.
Here he's holding a copy of one of Holly Martin's books, one of his westerns.
Ooh.
And it's called the Oklahoma Kid.
Oklahoma Kid.
Oklahoma.
Okay,
Oklahoma.
Little known fact. Do you know why there's always a stiff breeze in Texas? Because Oklahoma sucks.
He just wants to read his books and dance his dance.
Yes. Now's the time on Sprockets when we dance.
Dance. See the Dutch angle at play now. So you've got the awkward angle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that all of this cinematography is there is not only it's a film noir, but it also has been used to portray the fact that at this point everything's disjointed, everything's a mess.
That's right. Building tension, right?
Yeah. And also the fact that because it's a mess, you can't really trust anybody. And you know, the whole city's given. You see at the start of the movie, the whole city's given over to the black market in various degrees, and the people at the top are totally unscrupulous, immoral people, and so it's like you say, that building of tension, uncertainty, everything's out of balance, you know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't invent the Dutch angle, but I used it. But it's mainly because my tripod broke.
Yeah.
So I unintentionally picked this up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, you know, there's a bit of trivia about this whole cinematography style. I think it was a fellow director. Who was it? William Wyler. the Dutch angle, the oblique angles. It's the camera's tilted so you never see the proper horizon line.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel, like you said, ill at ease.
Right.
William Wyler, who was a friend of Carol Reed, the director, sent him a spirit level to the film with a note saying, "Carol, next time you make a picture, just put this on top of the camera, will you?"
Yeah. Well, you know, it was picked up by later greats such as Lynn Kabaczynski. And I forget which movie it was used in.
Yeah, there was
So,
another.
Batman, the TV
Film
series.
Noir.
yeah. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Lynn Kabazinski is not a great. That was sarcasm. Sorry. I tried to play it straight, but I went too obscure. My
too
apologies.
extreme. That's all right. I was trying to play it straight as well, and that never works. Too straight just doesn't work. It's only one straight man. That's why I fell. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's my fault.
I should never be the straight
That's my
man.
fault.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean,
the angles in this movie is when it's flat, it's when you know they're in a studio in front of a screen.
Yeah, exactly. Now
because it's not showing off like on location. They're always showing off the scenery. It's like you said, the city is a character.
Yeah,
and there's such beautiful architecture in there.
Yeah,
it is incredible, and that's an important point. The fact that you've got the aerial shots where it's looking up to the tops of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
The buildings look unreal. They're incredible. They're beautiful. And then you pan down, and at their feet is piles and piles of rubble. So it's that juxtaposition of the old world surrounded in the destruction and chaos of this, this transition period. But the actor you saw there, who's the landlord or the porter, I should say, was I think it was Austrian. He was a well-known Austrian actor, and he couldn't speak a word of English. So all of his Paul Herbiger, that was his name. He plays Paul Herbiger, and so all of his lines are just memorized phonetically.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't have a clue what he's saying. He's just repeating it.
Did a Temple of Doom on him.
But it works perfectly, It's So trying to get. We're at 17 minutes and a half. They're trying to get Holly to go back home, and they even bought him an airplane ticket or aeroplane ticket if you're British. And now he's found out from the Baron that Harry Lime had a girlfriend, a lover called Anna, and he's tracked her down, and here she is at the theater.
Oh.
Now the people at the theater and this glamorous theater set is part of the way that the director's trying to show that sort of like the middle class of Austria were still trying to pretend that everything was normal. Do you know what I mean? They're all living in sort of like a fake reality, and the fact that you've got this glamorous stage play is part of that fake reality. And the first time you see Anna, she's dressed up like that, and it's like she's like the ideal, far-fetched version of a romanticized woman, and she's not the reality of a girlfriend or a woman. She's like this fake version. Because there's a lot of one of the themes in the movie is like the difference between appearance and reality. What you see is not what's actually real.
Yeah, back to the Dutch angles.
There we go. The thing I like best about this, when she's taking her costume off and she's still got all this finery on, and she starts lighting a fag or cigarette, as you call them in America. I'm probably going to get striked for saying that word now. But that means a cigarette in Britain.
That's cigarette in Britain.
Snack food.
But it's like, thanks, Torlav. It's lovely. Nice bit of gas on a tab. What have we got? We got I do the same thing in my daily interactions.
Wear a dress and flashy jewelry?
Yeah, it looks like.
Oh my goodness, Sierra. Finding out things we never knew.
But this is Alida Valli, who was like sort of touted as the new Ingrid Bergman. And there's a lot of similarities between her and Ingrid Bergman. I mean, she's a very pretty lady. She was Italian-German. So she had
Okay.
mixed lineage, but she was from a very wealthy, almost like aristocratic aristocratic family. See, fact and fiction mixing again. Her
There you
life
go.
story is actually more interesting than a lot of different stories, fake stories. In reality, she was in love with a World War II Italian ace fighter pilot who died about a couple of years before this movie was made. So
Wow.
very, very strange life she had. But that's Alida Valli. So she plays Anna, who was Harry Lime's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend in this case. And so Holly's questioning her about what happened. How did Harry die? Now, the Port has already said that when Harry was killed by a hit and run, he was dragged across the street, and there was Popescu, who was a Romanian guy you're going to meet in a minute, who has a mustache. He's quite thick, broad man.
Ooh, I like mustaches.
And then the doctor, but there was a third man who dragged the body across, and that's the title of the movie, obviously.
Ooh. And the mystery begins.
Mm.
So there we are. They don't like us to use the lights.
God, use
So-
the lights. Okay. It's a lot like the trailer park when I come out and
Yeah,
make the announcement.
put some more coins in the meter.
It is now 10 p.m. and the electric bill goes up. Please turn off your lights. Thank you.
It's amazing that he doesn't speak English. He's just saying this learned. You know, he must have sort of understood it in some way. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just very well, much better than Temple of Doom. I'll give him that. You must go to place on high Babaka.
Shankara stones.
Yeah.
But this scene here sort of indicates how Anna is sort of in love with the fine life. You know, she's in love with everything which is high class, and which is why she ignores all of the other things going on around her. She's part of that world, you know.
Yeah, and and that kind of fits with the trying to forget reality, sticking back with what they had.
This is it, and it's also similar to today's world. Very similar. There's a lot of people who just would prefer to hide themselves in their private mansions and their private lives and ignore the outside world. You know.
Yeah. Currently in the U.S., we're doing that with the 80s. Come on, man. Depeche Mode's the best.
So Carl is really telling him now that didn't give evidence at the trial to say that there was another man. 3 men. Okay, so this is why he's finding out if there was a third man. So this is where the mystery starts to unfold.
Aha. He had red hair, a mustache, and was wearing a T-shirt that said "Chaos."
Yeah. There's the low angles there, and you're looking at people moving around, and who knows who it is you're looking at who's just walked past.
Wow.
There is a theory. There is a theory, by the way, that here's somebody ringing up. Who was this ringing? Doesn't answer. There is a theory that this entire movie, by the way, which is about intrigue and spies and politics, and obviously the start of the Cold War and the Iron Curtain, was actually a front for British and American intelligence, principally British intelligence operations, in the last 3 years before the Iron Curtain came down, So it was used as a front for spies to come in and out and get information.
I could see that.
I'll give you more information on that later on. There's something happens in the movie. I can go back to that later. But that football that just came in there, followed by the little child there who's watching those two argue. This is a Chekhov's gun moment, by the way.
From a child's eye view point.
Yeah, child's eye view.
Low Dutch angle. I love it.
So the child thinks that that Holly Mortons is a nasty man because he's upsetting Carl. That's all he's seeing, you see. So it's about perception.
Yeah.
The football, by the way, was kicked in to the room. No, it's just pointless, really. Pointless fact. But it was kicked into the room by a footballer, right? And when I say footballer, you would say soccer. Les Bennett, who was a champion footballer for Tottenham Hotspur. And he used his skills to kick the ball so it exactly hit
so
the
what
mark.
You're saying is a producer wanted to meet him, so he paid him money to come on set and kick a ball.
Just kick that ball and make sure it hits exactly that part of the door and bounces exactly that way into the room.
Yeah, I think Flash is right.
It's like, I've always wanted to meet him. How can we do that? Like, well, we could hire him to be on the movie for like an hour.
He could kick the ball in
and put in his contract he has to sign autographs for the kids.
Now, this is not a movie set. This is a movie set now, but the scene when they went up to the room was all real. And that kind of realism was something like the Italian directors were using at this time, where, you know, you didn't go to a movie set, you just set the cameras up in the real buildings in the real city. And that's one of the reasons this movie succeeds so well, I think, anyway.
Well, it's a reason for all the different angles, is it gives it life. Because you got to figure back then, there was no handheld camera.
Yeah.
The camera was like 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah, they were not tiny things.
Well, that's it. And
all those like Dutch angles and worm's eye views and aerial views really give you motion that you get nowadays just with a handheld camera that moves around.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the child angle view looking up. And
what's also, this is a time where everyone understood the language of pictures, because the comic strips were in every newspaper, photography was everywhere. So people really understood like the message every angle's sending.
So absolutely, and we're at 20, coming up to 28 and a half minutes.
Yeah, minutes.
I was thinking about classical music there, back from the theater, but because I was going to say about the soundtrack, but the scene here is where they're investigating Anna's apartment or flat or whatever, and they want to try and get some information about what happened to Harry from the love letters that he sent to Anna. And you can see in the room you've got representatives from all four powers. And this is another thing the film's trying to say, that this is all on the surface, whereas beneath the surface, there was, they were killing each other. Spies were killing each other. Russians were killing Americans. Americans were killing Russians. British were just probably eating popcorn. I don't know.
I think Churchill knew what was going on.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned Churchill. I'm going to come back to that later. So this is all going on the surface to make it look like, hey, we're all friends. Potsdam, hey, buddy. And really it was a waiting game. Both sides were waiting to see what was going to happen next. And so for the next couple of years, after this thing sort of settled down into West Germany and East Germany, and of course Austria, thank goodness, came under Western control.
Yeah.
This is this old lady here, the landlady, fantastic performance. is very upset about them all tramping around in what's left of her house, because this used to be a grand old house before the war. It's her name in the film is Anna's old landlady. She doesn't have a name, but it's played by.
I love her taking the extra cigarettes.
Yeah. So it's played by a woman called Hedwig Bleibtreu.
Have a lucky strike. You'll feel better.
And, but there you go.
What?
And of course, everything's being carted off now. By the way, you've already seen Sergeant Payne. You'll see a military policeman as well later on in the movie, played by an English actor, who is also associated with a certain type of movie, whose name is Jeffrey Keane. And you might, towards the end of the movie, see somebody called Robert Brown, who plays a British military policeman towards the end of the movie. I'm going to blow your minds, gentlemen, with this fact.
Okay, go for it.
All right. I'm going to blow your minds with this fact. So, you've already been introduced to Sergeant Payne. Okay, now Sergeant Payne is played by Bernard Lee. Right? You might think, well, who cares about that? Right, well, Bernard Lee was an actor who went on to star in a lot of movies of a certain type. Bernard Lee played James Bond's superior, M, in all of the first 11 Bond movies, from the very first, Dr. No, 1961, up to Moonraker in 79. Okay? Now, Robert Brown, who appears later in the movie, also played M and took over as M from Octopussy in 1983, View to Kill 1985, Living Daylights 87, and License to Kill in 1989. So 27 years of Bond movie M's are both in this movie. But not only that, but you've also got the military officer, which you see in a minute, Jeffrey Keane, who played the Minister of Defense in most of the Bond movies as well.
Nice. Oh, hold on. I will be right back.
Yep. And we're at 33 minutes, and we're just meeting Dr. Winkel.
And his dog.
And is this your dog? Yes, this is my dog.
Some say it's a rat, but I call it a dog.
I call it a sausage.
Miniature Doberman Pinto.
Dr. Winkel's supposed to be, supposed to have been Harry Lime's medical advisor, and he's supposed to be a doctor, and he asks him, was he dead? Yes, quite sure. And this guy is actually in league with Baron Kurtz, and he's very, very dubious person, very corrupt person. And because he's a doctor, we get to find out later in the story why Harry Lime consulted with him, because there's something that has happened, a conspiracy that's happened, which he would have been useful for. But he plays the ultimate arrogant Viennese gentleman. You can imagine him being part of the party. I'm not going to say the name. Winkel. How do you pronounce the name? Winkel. Yeah. He's so empty and cold.
Winkel. Party of Hugo Boss.
Now, when this movie came out, there was a bunch of socialists complained about how it portrays the Russians as evil. Well, that'll be right. All I should say is communists, and they're already interested in Anna, because Anna turns out to be Czechoslovakian. So the Russians are interested in her. So that explains a lot. By the way, Orson Welles was only in this movie for the filming took place. It started in October 48, I think, and went up to like the first week of December. So it was like 6 weeks principal photography. And it's interesting because a year after the film was filmed and a month after it was released at the cinema, that's when the Iron Curtain really started to come down.
Mm-hmm.
Germany became communist. East Germany became communist, I should say. And so it's really contemporaneous with what was going on. The reason it's so authentic is because that was filmed where these things were actually going on as they were going on. It's practically a documentary, But Orson Welles, I think I said this before the show, he was only on set for 1 week. He was traveling around Europe the rest of the time. And when he was on set, everybody absolutely hated him because he refused to do anything. And the entire sewer scene at the end of the movie, he just refused to go into the sewers. And they had to build a massive replica on a soundstage in Shepperton. So this massive sewer system set for him to act there instead because he absolutely refused to do it. And
he's American,
Well, here's the thing: his screen time in this entire movie, 1 hour 45 or something. His entire screen time is about 5 minutes.
Well, for those of you that are fans of B movies, he pulled what's called a Cameron Mitchell in the business.
Yeah.
We should be thankful that at least he filmed his lines and he wasn't sitting in a lawn chair the whole time.
Yeah. He got a 2-week vacation to Europe.
Yeah.
Free food, free drink.
Yeah, now that's called an Adam Sandler.
For like 5 days.
That's Popescu. So this is the Romanian Popescu.
I mean, it is a good mustache. I'll give him that.
Now you see how decrepit Austria is. It's still trying to, Vienna, I should say. They're still trying to live by the same standards before the war, and it's just this sort of decrepit, dying city, which is the old world is on the way out, and the new world of, unfortunately, the Cold War is coming in. And it's sort of the music on the zither sort of feeds into that because it's this weird, exhausted world. Now here comes the military police, one of each nation. These people couldn't understand each other, so you had one Russian, one American. Actually, no. I was about to say the American British officers would understand each other, but actually, probably no, they wouldn't.
No, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Hey, will you open the hood?
Hey, man.
Bonnet? No, hood. Bonnet?
What? Huh?
The hood.
How about a cigarette? You mean whoa, hold on now.
Woodbine, who's that? Have a lucky strike.
Hey, you nut. Pardon? I don't eat nuts. They disagree with me.
I have a peanut allergy. I'm sorry.
And of course, the other word for cigarette, which I'm not going to say again.
Oh, no.
It's unfortunate because in our country it doesn't mean that, but now we're not allowed to say that apparently.
Yes. Now I wonder, can I say the word that works in your country and my country? I'm not going to try it. Maybe I'll try it on my channel.
Yes. Please.
I think I could get away with it. We'll have to see.
Quick word about Selznick, the producer. Most of his decisions were really bad decisions, but there was one particularly bad decision that he wanted to make that thankfully was changed at the end. The ending, we'll mention that later. Selznick didn't get his way with the ending, so the ending that you see at the end of the movie is a more real ending. I won't say any more.
Yeah, I was going to say a producer making bad choices. Surely not, Pete.
If Selznick had total control of this movie, it would be an absolute pile of shite. I'll just tell you that now. One of the things he wanted to do was he basically didn't want Orson Welles for the role. Okay, he said he was box office poison.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was okay. One thing I will say was that he did want originally Jimmy Stewart to play the role of Holly Martins, which might have worked, but Jimmy Stewart's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, the way Joseph Cotton, the way he's playing his character is that Holly Martins isn't a good guy. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's not really a hero. This is the thing about film noir. Nobody's squeaky clean, you know?
And I've read that the only way that you could get Jimmy Stewart to really open up was to talk about piloting bombers during World War II.
Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. There's a scene of Anna having a cigarette at the bar. Very despondent. I've just got that up on the screen. So now Popescu's like, news team assemble!
Yeah, that is a heck of a bicycle, man.
Yeah. So they're all meeting to discuss the situation. They're getting a bit jittery. Dr. Winkel's about 4 feet tall.
I'm guessing so. Either that or that.
Or does bicycle like 7 feet tall?
Yeah, he's got those giant wheels from the 1800s on both sides.
It's a bit like Father Ted, isn't it?
To build a bridge.
Small, far away. Small, far away.
Have the bicycle up close, the actor really far away. Will be forced perspective.
Yeah. Now we've got this scene here where he's gone back to the scene of the crime. And he's just about to give it's that meet me at the such and such, I'll tell you who the killer is.
Dun,
and dun, dun, opens the blinds to tell him now, suddenly sees somebody that he recognizes. And Anna's just playing with her knob there. On the end of the bed. That's not getting any better, really.
Oh,
is
sorry.
it?
No.
Let's just leave that there. This was supposed to be a highbrow show, guys. What's going on?
17 American beers later.
This is the worst carry-on film I've ever seen. Got single entendres in this. It's terrible.
Oh dear. So here's a burgeoning love affair, possibly between Holly and Anna. Now, Anna, I don't know if I've just missed that, but there's a point where she mistakenly thinks Harry is. She sees him and thinks, for instance, it's Harry come back from the dead, and the names Harry and Holly are sort of very similar, and the characters of Harry and Holly are supposed to be like very, very similar people, but based upon the same kind of characters. And whereas, you know, Harry was just immoral sociopath, he was charming. Holly is sort of the typical archetypal soft-hearted American who, you know, he doesn't really want to get involved, but he hates to see a dame in trouble.
Well, yeah. We've got a soft spot for dames.
Yeah, dames. It's always a dame.
Always a dame. And out comes the lucky strike.
That's it. And this is where they're talking about how he was able to fix things for people, how Harry was always able to do these little things for people. A charming person. And this feeds into the whole idea of this movie has some people don't like it because it's not Hollywood. Okay, it's moral ambivalence, it's moral ambiguity, and moral dilemmas. It's, you know what I mean? The characters aren't squeaky clean. They haven't got clearly defined, moral standards. It's a period of time where people had to sort of go against their own principles to survive. And
and seeing that's something I love is a bit of a gray area. The black and white. Yes, I do this. I'm goody good man. That gets boring.
I mean, this is a question about Holly. Is he wanting to save or protect Anna for moral reasons, or does he just have a romantic attraction? Later in the movie, they sort of tell him more about why they were after Harry, and he says, well, he deserves to hang, but let somebody else tie the rope. He doesn't want the responsibility,
Yeah.
So now we've about 46.5 minutes in, and we've just found that the porter's found dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
And there's the little kid.
The footballer.
The porter is kaput. Murdered. And then here's the little telltale kid going, Papa, das ist ein Mörderer.
Papa, where is my candy? Is the river made of chocolate, Papa?
And look at the way they're now looking at him. Straight away, the crowd is like turning.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking, did you push him from the window? Papa, get the man and that's the man.
I want chocolate, Willy Wonka.
Yeah, my name is Augustus Gloop. But this is again, appearance and truth. The child saw them arguing, so automatically associates him as a murderer. And of course, he's a stranger. He's not Austrian.
Yeah.
And it's just the same as everywhere you go. You're seeing you're seeing like the former glory of the city, but it's all fake. It's idealized, romanticized, like Alida's character.
It's just
there's
a
no
facade.
longer. Yeah, it's a facade, and it's. You see the steps ruined there that they're running down, and sort of like up and down of the music. It's everything's messed up and all over the place, basically. And so they've all been brought low, and it's this. They're just surviving, and really just denying the outside world. So they've snuck into a cinema. This is something the movie does a lot. It's about stories within stories within stories. You've seen the theater. Now they're in a movie theater, and it's sort of breaking down the third wall, because this is a story told by someone of another story. And to me, that reminds me of the way, I don't know whether you've read Heart of Darkness. That was what Apocalypse Now was based on. But it starts with a view of a river and a dead body in the river. Well, it starts with a view of a river anyway. And it starts with a man narrating the story of someone else, just like Marlowe relates a story about Kurtz in Heart of Darkness, and Conrad was a major influence on Graham Greene.
Okay.
So here, there's this taxi cab waiting for Holly, and he wants to go to the headquarters, but now he's being taken somebody, and this is what is going on. Is he going to be killed now? Where's he going?
Yeah, exactly.
He can't get out the cab.
Yeah, if I jump in a taxi and I say "take me to," and they're already on the move, it's like that Uber driver is getting 1 star.
Yeah, he's definitely getting taken off favorites.
Yes, absolutely.
No tip for you.
Yeah, exactly. 1 star, no tip for you.
Can you see them? Can you see them in the back there, hosing down the streets?
Yes.
Right. One of the things that Graham Greene does all the time, Carol Reed does all the time in this movie, is he has like the surfaces of the roads are always wet to make make it look more moody and make the scene look better. And you actually saw them doing it there. They were happy to help him. The local fire service hose the streets down every night. So here we see it's not actually taking him to be shot. It's Wilfred. Come and give your book review. Oh, and there you go, Mr. Martins. Yes, the author of the Oklahoma Kid. So he's going to give a speech. He completely forgot about this, and now it's like, what do I do? I can't concentrate because I'm being hunted down.
My book's about Oklahoma.
How old was Wilfred Hyde White in this movie?
Well, the funny thing about Wilfred Hyde White is he was an old man for about 50 years. Yeah, he reached the age 60, and then he just stayed 60 for about 50 years on from that.
He was born at the age of 55.
It's got
it's like Steve
Patrick
Martin.
Stewart. Patrick Stewart disease.
Yeah.
He was always 45 and up.
And here comes Popescu.
Oh, and the angles kick up.
Now, the crowd, because they're all a bunch of ponces, all they can... Ooh, that's a face. He looks like he's from a Wallace and Gromit film.
Yes.
Now, Gromit. It's the wrong trousers. But the crowd there, I just wanted to ask about James Joyce because that was what was trendy in the late 40s. And of course, Colin Martins couldn't be further from that because he's a writer of westerns. So, and this is where he says, "I'm writing a fact story called The Third Man."
Oh. Haven't you ever scrapped the book?
Haven't you ever scrapped the book, Mr. Martins? Pity.
Mr. Martin, I'm giving you a thumbs down on your YouTube.
We have ways of giving you a bad Yelp review.
Yes. We are here to cancel. We are here to cancel you.
Is your cowboy books a toxic masculinity?
We are going to shout expletives from the back of the room to cancel your event.
Let's see if your book ever gets on trending on Amazon now.
Mr. Martin, it's about the culture war.
I like that shot up the stairs.
Yeah, the winding, never-ending spiral. And it's about this dizzying,
beautiful
mess that he's getting into. Now he thinks there's someone in the room, someone who's been kidnapped and bound, and it's a cockatoo. By the way, did you see the picture behind him there?
No,
just
I missed
that moment. It was a painting of a naked woman with pubic hair.
Oh,
that one got past the censors.
See, I was just thinking if it was Ralph in the role, that cockatoo would have been gone out the window immediately.
Look at this scene here. Amazing photography.
Yeah.
This is it's just unreal, isn't it?
And the fact that that's actual outdoor scenery and they got the lighting that good. And
none of this is placed. This is all stuff just lying around. This couldn't have been done at any other point in time. This is all real rubble just there. They're just running around the real city. None of this is. We need about 10 tons over there on the left.
Yeah, bring in a couple of dump trucks full of bricks.
So But yeah, the way they shoot the light, it's always like a light round the corner, which is casting shadows, and then you've got like a sort of a dim light in the foreground. So it's standard film noir, but it's really hard to achieve properly.
Yeah, exactly. Doing it properly is the key. You know, and people don't give enough credit to cinematography, and especially the lighting behind it. You know, like for example, the indoor scene here, standard lighting, you can tell it's in the studio, but trying to get the lighting on film in an outdoor set, just unbelievably difficult.
And lighting is everything.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah. And if you're a connoisseur of terrible movies like I am, you understand that, you know, there are some baffling decisions that are made about lighting.
Day for night.
Day for night. Oh my gosh. I actually I'm planning on putting out a spoiler for everybody. I'm planning on putting out a review of a film called Lichen Colony, which makes extensive use of day for night and some baffling editing choices. And it is a masterpiece in what not to do.
Oh, rhinoceros, rhino, or unicorn if you want.
Yeah, I prefer chubby unicorn myself.
So we're going to find out the truth now. This is Harbin. Okay, now this is interesting because this knits everything together. Harbin worked for Lime. You're finding out that the crime Harry committed was to steal penicillin, which is why you needed Dr. Winkel. And what he did was he diluted down the penicillin, which caused a major catastrophe to occur. He diluted it down and resold it on the black market. So he tells him the whole story. By the way, you've heard Sergeant Payne there saying, yes, he's the writer of the Lone Rider of Santa Fe. I'd like to go to Texas someday, Mr. Martins.
Wouldn't everybody?
Sergeant Payne wants to go to Texas. He wants to visit Santa Fe in Texas. If Santa Fe,
come on down to the trailer park. I've got several beers left.
Yeah. M from James Bond wants to go to Texas. £70 a tube, which would have been in those days about $300 a tube, and by today's standards, quick maths, about $10,000 a tube, because it was rare in those days. Penicillin. It was ridiculous.
It was the miracle drug back then.
Yeah, that's it. Hello,
it still is.
I would like the passport of Anna Schmidt.
Penicillin is still the go-to for almost everything.
We want to repatriate Anna Schmidt.
Excuse me.
And this is another thing that was cut out. This was cut out of the American version as well. The censors would never have let that go through in America. Of course, in Britain, we're sort of like, yeah, okay, as long as it's on late at night. This is the kind of nightclub we've all ended up in at one point or other. 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Prostitutes at the bar, a half-naked dancer, and a gypsy selling massive chrysanthemums.
Yeah, well,
the half-naked dancer is usually a white trash chick in a Denny's.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. And Ralph's trying to pick up.
Beautiful.
Ralph is trying to pick up the gypsy woman selling carnations.
And, you still got that was my experience when I went to the casino the first time, and it was like, "What is going on here?"
Mine was just
around here. There always used to be the people selling flowers outside of like bars and nightclubs.
Buy
the lady a flower. You're sure to get lucky.
We always used to have lucky Heather. No, like you don't get them anymore. But probably the coof.
Oh yeah,
well, drinking. Holly's been drinking because he found out what Harry had done, and so he's got drunk, and
I can sympathize.
And he's playing with the pussy there with the string.
The cat.
By the way, that cat is like the best cat actor.
It is
in the movie.
Well trained, isn't it? It's
tranquilized.
Yeah, I hope so.
I brought you some drunken croissants or whatever they are.
Look at my finger. My finger hurts. That's why I'm here.
So, what's his reaction to all this? Because he's just discovered his friend is an absolute swine. And I think Anna already knows. See, she knew already. And this is again how we see she's morally questionable. She doesn't really. She just wants to ignore that. Who's that in the street?
Oh, good question. Beautiful shot.
Figure. The shadows, the really long shadows. There's the light hidden behind the corner, coming around the corner.
And then coming back to what you were talking about the wet pavement. You know, just how it adds the light to it.
It bounces the light off. It bounces the light off, and it's amazing. It's high contrast shadows. So the pussycat gives it away, I'm afraid. It only liked Harry, this cat. So it's playing with the shoelaces.
Ooh.
See how the expectations being built up.
Yeah. All right. Hold on a minute, gentlemen. I have to get some scotch. I'm out of beer.
I don't have a gift for that cat.
It's amazing.
Do you know what it is? I had a one for the chase scene. I didn't use that. There's the spiral staircase. And we had one for him drinking as well.
Oh.
We can use that one.
I can relate with that.
And let's just put that one on. That's gonna be significant in a minute.
There you go. Okay. Getting rid of the last of my blood. Not cracking open my new single malt yet.
Oh, very nice. And what a good movie to do it for as well.
Yes, exactly.
To be honest, Ralph, you would love to just sit and watch this movie again. It's one of those films you can watch over and over again.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have the time, it's
when my blood alcohol content is closer to zero, I definitely will.
The first viewing, you get about a half of the movie, and then watch it a second time, you get more. Third time, and it's deeper every time. You notice more and more each time you watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, what you just said there, a person doesn't change because you find out more. So she now knows what Harry's done, and she's trying to say that what she likes about Harry doesn't change. So her morality is she doesn't care that Harry's done what he's done. So what kind of morality does she have? So this is the ambiguity, you see. This is the moral dilemma.
Well, and sticking with that, the heart wants what the heart wants.
Mm.
And we don't really know what kind of person she is either.
Yeah, exactly. She's a refugee, definitely.
We see her as a good person because we see her through Joseph Cotton's eyes, who's, romanticizing her like a damsel, but she could be a terrible person.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it as well. And the idea of friendship and betrayal as well as in this as well. That's one of the major themes, because both of them knew Harry, and now are they going to betray him? What are they going to do differently now? Here we come to the most iconic moment in one of the most iconic movies ever made in cinema history, gentlemen. Come out, wherever you are.
Just the layout of the city. You couldn't duplicate that. It's just
no. Yeah, you need these cities are amazing. I mean, I've been to Prague before, but haven't been to Vienna yet, and they're incredible places. They're nothing like English cities at all.
Mm-hmm.
And here he comes. I mean, it's the use of light and darkness, people coming from dark into light in an instant. That's used all the time in this movie. Bang. There we go.
Yeah.
There he is. And there's the zither music. And then the little smile, the cheeky smile.
Yeah, the little wry smile.
Harry!
The shadow nose.
Hello, Holly. And then back into darkness, as if he's not really there. You know? And he's
Car
disappeared
cuts
already.
him off and he's gone.
That's it, like a ghost.
And out comes the Dutch angle.
Yep.
And I love the lady hanging out the window yelling about Schnitzengruben.
Here we go. So here comes the chase scene. So, and we're already over an hour into the movie. There's only about half an hour left.
Yeah.
Incredible. And where's he gone? There's the
shadow.
The shadow.
Well, there's only one thing in the whole place, that pillar there. So he's drunk. He thinks he must have seen a ghost, or he's seen, like, you know, he's seen things. Now he realizes he must have gone down the pillar there.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yep. And so he's already made a transition from being Harry's friend to realizing what Harry's done. So now he's willing to help the police. So the police in the beginning were like thugs, and now we're starting to see they're not thugs. They're just trying to deal with a really serious criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about perception and truth, appearance, the difference between what something appears like and what the actual truth is, you know. So you go. Major Calloway me Ralph's just made a discovery.
Well, of course. My
There's the
moonshine
sewers.
senses kicked in.
These sewers in Vienna are huge as well, massive network of tunnels. And because all these huge cities had sophisticated like sewer systems. And they are actually in the sewers right now. This isn't the Shepperton set. But the police who appear at the end of the movie in the sewer scene are look at that. That's amazing lighting.
Yeah.
That light
Yeah.
far off in the distance. Wow. What a shot. That's the main sewer. It's about just over a mile long, that main section.
I'm
Goes
just
down
trying
to
to
the Danube.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of all the trouble they had to go through just to set up that shot.
That
get
shot.
Yeah.
Well,
Getting the cameras in there and like the crew and everything, just unreal.
It's funny you should mention that because the director Carol Reed and his camera crew were working round the clock to film this, and Carol Reed I think was running about 3 or 4 different camera teams. There was a dedicated sewer camera team. And because he was busy all the time, he was only getting 2 hours sleep a night. He was on Benzedrine, speed for the entire filming. And some of the cameramen and crew were on speed as well, which is ironic, because one of the messages in the movie is, "Ooh, it's bad to take drugs."
Well, yeah. I had some residents in the trailer park that would sometimes get hopped up on some stuff and work on their hot rods all night. So
now we see the circle's complete now, gentlemen, because now they know Harry's alive, which was the big reveal of the movie, obviously. Who was buried at the start? Well, it was Harbin, the man who was working for Harry. So Harry knocked him off, and buried him and used his burial to fake his own death.
Just like Elvis.
There we go.
Yep. Exactly like Elvis.
So you're saying Elvis is actually Orson Welles?
No, I'm saying
Exactly.
Elvis is alive.
All right.
Elvis spends his retirement visiting various Burger Kings.
That's right, in Reno, Nevada.
Now, here's a familiar scene that most people who've lived under communist dictatorship will be familiar with. The knocking on your door in the middle of the night to carry you away, never to be seen again.
Now, comrade,
strategy.
I have been told that under the glorious People's Republic of whatever, that this kind of thing just would not happen.
This is the we're going to cart you back behind the Iron Curtain because we can.
Yeah, let's go have a few words.
There's Jeffrey Keane in the background there, who later went on to be in the Bond movies. So she's got to pick up what she's got and close on her back, and off she goes. Another nameless number to disappear behind the Iron Curtain. There he is.
We are taking you to Portland now.
The future star of the James Bond movies, who played the Minister of Defense. He was in about 3 or 4 Bond movies. So this is why she's escapist. This is why she just doesn't want to think about the world and what's going on, because she's escaped from Czechoslovakia and now she has to go back there. So I suppose she's just trying to live the high life while she had a chance.
Yeah, you live for the moment. And that's the thing. It's an important glimpse back into that time period.
So the French guy and the British guy were like, "So sorry about this." Is there a Yankee there as well? Sorry, American.
I didn't see.
Racism.
I'm looking.
I think the American soldier is just basically thinking, if I say anything, this Russian guy is going to report whatever I say, so I better not say anything.
Yeah, we weren't on the best of terms.
Yeah.
Probably had something to do with Patton saying, "Yeah, we need to just keep rolling.
Keep on
Moscow.
rolling." Yeah. Well, he wasn't wrong, was he?
No, in hindsight,
because that was the real deal. About Europe did end up dominated by a dictator, just a different one.
Yes.
So he's asking. We're at 1 hour 13 minutes. He's asked Major Calloway and me Ralph is asking Anna about when did you last see him, because they're going to track him down now.
I need a pencil thin mustache.
It does work quite well. This was Trevor Howard's best movie performance as well. This is another thing about it. All of these actors, this is probably their finest performance. I would say without a doubt. Even Orson Welles, I would say, even though he's in the movie for only 5 minutes, I would argue that this is definitely one of his top 3 performances.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the guys in the background are saying.
Yeah,
like,
the French guys talking to the Americans saying, "No, you're ridiculous, Yankee. Camel cigarettes are much nicer than." Actually, no, they smoke Gitans, don't they? Gitans are better. I know they smell like horse dung, but
Come here.
You're speaking Camel pell-mells and Lucky Strikes. They are
See the people rummaging through the rubble there, and then you look upwards and look at that finery on that building.
Yeah.
So it's this constant juxtaposition. So these 2 gentlemen share an apartment together. I think they're best friends. And
definitely.
And immediately behind him is the Ferris wheel. This is the Ferris wheel scene. Yeah, so they knew all the time. I mean, they're his cronies. But this is the famous Ferris wheel scene. And this is, again, where you're going to see that moment again where, you know, the hero, or the film noir hero, is taken to the heights and offered, you know, worship me or follow me and I'll give you whatever you want type of thing. That moment again.
You're gonna kick me out of the stream, but I have to say this music is strangely reminiscent of SpongeBob.
Yes,
it's been used in loads of other things after this, because this became a worldwide hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Casanova theme. But this is all. I mean, the guy was a composer, Anton Karas. This is his own individual version. There he is, Harry Lime. Hello, old man. How are you? So look how natural the performance is, though, and they talk over each other all the time, like a normal conversation.
Yes,
it's seamless performance.
So many people don't get that.
Yeah,
I swear I am coming to arrest you.
These tablets.
Isn't that a thing that Orson Welles really introduced to movies, was the talking over each other?
Yeah,
that's
natural.
A big trademark in Citizen Kane. Yeah,
natural style. And but just look at the way they walk and move with each other. It's like that's, you know, they worked for years and years beforehand.
Well, it works that they were friends in real life.
And this is another great thing about the movie, that they have this really good rapport.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that was in Citizen Kane, wasn't it? The gentleman friends relationship that was explored in Citizen Kane as well. Kane,
Joseph Cotton was a member of the Mercury Theater.
Yeah, that was it. The Mercury.
They had known each other probably 20 years prior to this.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Cotton was in all of his like radio productions and a lot of his movies.
So here we go. He's behind the Soviet zone, and that's the only way he's safe in the Soviet zone, because the Americans and British are after him. Now, I'm going to tell you something now about the fact that the entire directorial cast were all spies. So very quickly, Graham Greene, the person who wrote the book, his entire family was immersed in espionage. In the 1930s, Greene's older brother worked for the Japanese, British, and American intelligence. In the 50s, his younger brother co-edited the Spy Beside book with Greene. His sister Elizabeth joined MI6 in the 30s and recruited Graham into the British Secret Service. So Graham Greene, the writer, was a spy during the war. Corder, who was also an associate writer, was a spy in Austria. Greene had a long, chummy relationship with somebody you might be aware of, Kim Philby. Harold Kim Philby, who defected to the Russians.
Oh,
he was a double agent for MI6. He defected to the Russians, and so basically, Harry Lime is based on Kim Philby partly. He's a very immoral, dubious character who will just do whatever he wants for his own self-preservation. And the names are obvious. Philby's real name was Harold, which means Harry, like Harry Lime. Mm-hmm. But so there's a lot of Graham Greene wrote himself and his friends into these characters. They were like amalgams of all the people he'd known who were all spies. And during the filming of the movie, the crew noticed several people on set who were watching what was going on the entire time.
Oh, of course.
And there's also some information to indicate that the entire movie was a front for British and American intelligence gathering in the late part of the 40s. So all I can say is, for a cover story, it produced an amazing movie.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
You could do a movie about the making of the movie. You really could. There's that much behind it. So that moment there where Harry sort of opened the door and gave a veiled threat to Holly about, I could have you killed if you want to, but I won't because I like you. But don't cross me again.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a cuckoo clock speech, gentlemen. If you remember it.
No.
And the Renaissance that has brotherly love, democracy, and peace. The cuckoo clock.
There you go.
I mean, it's not his own dialogue words. It's based upon a previously known sort of story, but it is nicely phrased, and they needed like 2 or 3 minutes filled in that scene, and Orson Welles came up with that off the top of his head. So he did write a lot of his own dialogue. So the common myth with this is that Orson was happy to make people think that he directed the movie, which is a myth for until like the 60s or 70s even. And he didn't, but he did come up with a lot of his own dialogue. But he's only in the movie for about 5 minutes, so,
Well, The thing is a good story goes a long way. So regardless of what reality is.
True.
Sometimes the mythos drives the legend and keeps things going.
Well, this is the reason this reminds me of Heart of Darkness in a way is because it's a story within a story within a story, and these characters are becoming, or the way it's narrated this happened in the past, when in fact the movie was produced and released literally a year after the events it's describing. It's sort of describing these people as they're becoming legends, modern day legends.
Well, also, like Part of Darkness, it has the quest for a person, like the star of the movie that you'll remember forever isn't in the movie.
That's right.
A little screen time, like the
Marlowe's revealed. Marlowe's narrating it, and Kurtz is right at the end.
But it's a character throughout the whole thing because it's on everybody's mind and everybody's mouth. It's always Harry Line. And
both Heart of Darkness and this movie share the same like moral ambiguity and what people are capable of. And that speech I was talking about something else at the time, but that speech in the Ferris wheel that Orson Welles' character Harry Lime gave was about, would it matter if one of these, look at those people down there, would it matter if one of those dots stopped moving forever? And he's reached this sociopathic way of thinking where people are just dots. It doesn't matter if one of them stopped living forever. And he's also sacrificed Anna as well. He doesn't care that Anna's going to be taken by the Russians. So he is like a sociopath. He's detached from really caring about people that they don't really mean anything to him anymore. And this is, what are we, 1 hour 24? And this is, Anna was going to go on the train. They were going to get her out of there so the Russians couldn't take her. And now she's seen Holly in the cafe because Holly's a dyed-in-the-wool softie. And this is where Anna discovers that the only reason she's on the train is because Holly has betrayed Harry. So this is the moment where it's about the end of friendship and the beginning of betrayal, because for this love triangle, which is Holly, Harry, and Anna, for Holly to protect Anna, he's had to betray Harry. But Harry doesn't give a shit about Anna anyway. But Anna is so fixated on Harry. It's like she's a crazy dame.
Yeah, you know. Gotta...
You know. So, yeah. So now we're getting to the point where he's going to help Calloway to catch Harry Lime.
Yep.
There you go. So
there you go. Harry didn't even lift a finger to help you.
And this is it. She's prepared to still love him, even though he doesn't care. I mean, with Harry, this ambivalence, this disorientation of the movie, of morality, he epitomizes that, because he's likable, but he's a tyrant, he's a monster, but he's charming, but he completely perplexes the viewer. How can you like him? Because he's a swine.
Yeah.
And the sewers, the scene in the sewers towards the end, it's sort of well, I won't say too much, but we're still rooting for Harry in a certain way. It's like the lovable rogue. Where did this idea come from? The lovable rogue, Yeah,
an anti-hero.
And Holly gave Anna his coat there to keep her warm, and she just left it and walked away. So Holly's trying to do everything he can to help her, and she hates him and loves Harry, who couldn't give a shit.
Dames, what can I say?
Yeah. I won't have helped, Holly says. So he's made his decision. He doesn't want to know anymore. He's not willing to make the decision to betray his friend anymore now. But this is the moment where they take him to the hospital, the children's hospital. So the penicillin was to be used for a children's hospital, for the children had meningitis. And because they've been given watered down penicillin, it didn't cure them. So now these children are on the advanced stages of meningitis. Some of them permanent brain damage, and some of them have died. And this is Harry Lime's work. He's indirectly responsible for this because he sold them the watered down penicillin. So the question is, morally speaking, is it right that Harry should be caught and dealt with, executed even, to prevent him doing this in future? And, I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a utilitarian view, but I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's important to drive the impact of his actions home.
Yeah. So now Calloway's rubbing it in by saying, "Hey, looking forward to going back and writing slushy novels." I'll be your dumb decoy duck. There's a bit of alliteration there. This is great, this scene. This is around the cathedral, I think. And there's an old guy who comes along, right? And when I was watching the movie, I thought Harry Lime had paid this guy to come along as a distraction. But he's not. He's just there purely by random, walking the streets at night. And it's just more of this like decrepitude of the city. I mean, that huge building there is half destroyed. And a guy comes along, like doing like the silly walk from Monty Python, selling balloons. He just comes up and goes, "Balloon? Balloon?" So that's like where it gets like Dali-esque, like really surreal, you know. Yes, the shadow. You think it's Harry?
Giant shadow.
Is it Harry, or is it someone else?
And there's like literally nobody on the streets.
Yeah, you see the use of shadow and light. They just peer out a little bit out. People come out of the darkness into the light and then step straight back into that well of darkness. It's superb, absolutely superb camera work. There he is, the balloon salesman. Oh my goodness me!
Tire from a
That was
trailer.
the size he would soon be in 1983 before his death.
Trailer tire. Is filled with helium.
And it's like he's completely given away that position. And now Anna's turned up at the cafe. This is going horribly wrong.
Bloody
dear.
wanker.
There he is. He stops and just turns. And it's like, don't come over here.
Don't look at him. He won't
He's
see us
coming.
if we don't look at him.
He's coming. He's going to sell you a balloon. Listen to his voice, though. Balloon. There you can do it. You've got a baritone voice.
Balloon by the poo.
I've got to buy his balloons. Come on, Schnell. Come on. You
Schnell, you
hang her up,
wanker.
hang her up, you wanker.
You wanker. Bloody hell.
And there's the music again, meaning Harry's coming. There he is. Yeah, you can just see Orson Welles was in love with himself, wasn't he?
Well,
He
yeah.
really was.
I mean, yeah, he was Orson freaking Welles. I mean,
Look at that. That whole section of building, this is all devastated. This would have been high society at one point, all these buildings. And all that's left is this little block here with the cafe.
Orson Welles is Batman.
I mean, this calling back to Heart of Darkness, there is even a character called Kurtz. So it must have been an influence on Graham Greene when he wrote it. Here's the famous scene where he walks into the cafe and he sees those two arguing. And
hello.
and as soon as he walks in, he hears that, and it's like, what? Well done. Harry, get away. Anna. Now, Anna won't move out of the way, and here, oh, there we go. So he's away. Shoot him in the back. And again, these massive piles of rubble everywhere. It is so like what? It's like apocalyptic, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So here he goes down into the sewers, and we're already at 1 hour coming up 1 hour 34. We've only got 10 minutes left of the movie. It really does race along the pace
Like
of the movie.
the most famous 10 minutes in almost any movie.
Yeah. Now this is all Shepperton, that where you see Orson at the front, where you can see his face. That's Shepperton. Where you can't see his face, it's filmed in the actual sewers in Austria because he refused to work down there. So
I can't really blame him.
Imagine that. Yeah.
I think that scene was bona fide though. There, he's walked down the main sewer tunnels, but he essentially most of the small tunnels is all a soundstage at Shepperton.
He's like, I don't really want to fall into some poop.
Yeah, there's this whole
I want that in my contract.
See the rat there? See the little rat there? I just noticed that there. There's a tour you can go down in Austria now because the Austrians hated this movie when it first came out, as you can understand, because it shows Vienna as a shithole, really, because it was
it's like a Babylon.
Yeah,
awful.
But now it's like major tourist thing, and they do a tour, and apparently there's like little rats behind perspex It's like, oh look, there's a rat.
Oh,
This
look,
is the
Franz.
place. This is the place where they ran around, in the movies, the third man. By the way, these coppers here, these Germans, Austrians. Ooh, they would hate it if I just called them. I just called them Germans. They would hate that.
Oh yeah. You'd be banned for that.
That's the actual sewer police. So, these are the guys who, like, because at the time, the sewers were used by criminals to, like, escape to Czechoslovakia and all that, because it goes down to the Danube, and then you can get onto the Danube from there. Wow. And so these are actual off-duty, the real sewer police, Vienna sewer police.
See, I think the closest thing we have in the States would be like the New York sewers, where they have alligators. That's a fact.
Yeah. Can you see the off-corner distant light? It's always round the corner, the light.
Yeah.
And this is where they're all closing in on, and you get this iconic scene where he goes into this large area with all the tunnels coming off, and he hears the voices coming from everywhere, and he just doesn't know which direction to go in because they're closing in on him,
Yeah, that's the thing. In a place like that, it just echoes endlessly.
This is it. And there's that scene where that marvelous lighting there in the tunnel.
Beautiful lighting.
And this was
Color
based...
is so overrated when you watch this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why do we film anything in color?
Yeah, because you're just concentrating on the light and the contrast, aren't you?
Yeah, the contrast is just amazing.
And this is actually based on truth again,
and the funny thing is, it's like when they try to duplicate this kind of thing now, they desaturate the color.
Yeah.
This is during the war. This is the Wien Canal, by the way. It's called. It's the main channel that runs to the. It's a underground river that runs under Vienna out to the Danube, and that huge arch structure is the main tunnel. The during the war, the spies like Kim Philby and others would help their communist brothers to escape through these tunnel networks to further east to escape the Germans. So that's where the inspiration for this idea is. He's trying to escape. There's the voices from everywhere.
Yeah, no telling where to go.
Yeah, this is the confusion. This is the complete malaise. Doesn't know what to do.
Why this is like studied in film schools to this day, and in art, like even in like painting and fine art classes, they still study this. This
is Martin Scorsese's favorite movie. It's also was one of Akira Kurosawa's top 10 movies.
You can see the influence on him, definitely.
Look at the way that's amazing acting there. Now you can tell that there we are. There's the moment.
They got airy.
You can tell Bernard Lee playing Sergeant Payne knew what it felt like to get hit by a bullet, because his acting was really good there. And now they got Harry. So Sergeant Payne's not going to be going to Texas now, is he, Ralph?
No. He missed out on the chance to visit Paris.
Sergeant got
Texas.
At this moment, where the tantalizing moment,
where so close to escape.
This is it, and it's so close but yet so far. And he reaches up his fingers through the grate. He desperately looks for escape, trapped beneath the city, and above there's this totally different world, and the wind goes through his fingers. How tantalizing close to freedom in the world above.
Yep.
And ironically, it's his sentimentality for his friends that got him into this. Got him into this fix, because his friend ended up betraying him. He's a monstrous sociopath, and yet we still feel pity for him.
Well, he was like so many people of that time that were just trying to, war profiteers, basically.
And here's Holly with a decision. What do I do here? This is my friend. And then Harry nods. Yeah, finish me off. I'd rather you shot me than I face trial. And so Holly does end up being the man who has to tie the rope. And there's that gunshot echoing through the tunnels. Amazing.
Yeah, and the music stops at the gunshot.
Yep. Great point, Ralph. That's stopped because he's dead now. So that theme's gone. And here we are at the end, as we were at the beginning.
Yeah, back
except
to another funeral.
Yep, this is the real funeral of Harry Lime.
And that's another thing. We've talked about cinematography and lighting. The sound work and musical score is overlooked so often in modern cinema. Easy for me to say.
You're doing better than I would of that many whiskeys.
Well, now they use like Batman and all those movies, like Batman. What is it? The Christopher Nolan Batman, where it's just there's music, but it's basically muted, and all you hear is the mood.
Yeah,
and it's just used to, there's no real musical score. It's just like things that make you feel things, and that's it.
Yeah.
But that composer is the track he did for Dunkirk was excellent. This shot here was used so many times afterwards. This is a first. This shot, this was copied so many times, and this was the ending again. Selznick said, "No, they're going to be a happy couple at the end," and Carol's like, "Well, in the book that Graham Greene wrote, they actually hit it off together and start a new life together." So that's a positive note. Despite everything they've been through, and despite everything that's going on in the world, they hit it off and they managed to start a new life together. But remember that this character of Holly has betrayed his longtime friend, and shot his longtime friend, and Anna, who was infatuated with him, despite his moral. The monstrous things he did, is still in love with him, even though he's dead. And so This is why the ending is different. And thankfully, Carol Reed got his way, and she just walked straight past him. And that's more real.
Right. That's in keeping with the characters, their motivations, their desires. It makes sense.
And he goes back to his pack of Lucky Strikes.
Well, it's Lucky Strikes makes everything better.
That's it.
Even if it does taste like a cat butt on fire.
And there we are, the end.
Yeah. Now, as a Yank that has smoked Lucky Strike cigarettes, they are not the most flavorful blend on the market.
No, true.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, there you go. What did you think, gentlemen?
Love it.
Yeah, very enjoyable. Fantastic cinematography. The ending, I liked a lot. Coming through after that, like you talked about, walking by, sticking with the characters, the characters' motivations, sticking true to what they've been working toward the whole time, and then ending it. I like ending it with no credits. Nice.
Absolutely.
Nowadays you'd have ending credits and then a mid scene where they're having children or something, and
yeah, you'd have to have the stinger that sets up the next 5 movies, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You would have to show Harry Lime walking out of the sewers
sequel.
and like straightening his tie.
The sequel will be the 4th man, then the 5th man.
Yes, exactly.
Or you could say the 3rd man. Well, what happened to the 1st man? The 2nd man?
The bloody baker's dozen.
What did you think, Flash? Then overall,
And I love it. Like, it's so good. Like, I could just stare at it. It's so beautifully shot.
Yeah. I mean that it deserved the Oscar for the cinematography.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see how hard they worked on the movie. I mean, 20 hours a day, 2 hours sleep a night, and
lots of methamphetamine.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, for me, it's an ensemble piece. It's everybody being the best they can possibly be, and the other parts of the story couldn't have been done at any other time. The fact that the fact that Vienna was literally a mess like that, and it was filmed at that point like a documentary. It's essentially a documentary, really. None of it's fake. It's all actual rubble and destroyed buildings. It's the real sewer police. It's the real civilians on the street. None of this is fake. I mean, yeah, the central cast are actors. But it's incredible, the level of realism, and everything just falls into place, and everybody's doing their best. And thankfully, the bad decisions didn't get to come in, and that happens rarely in movies. I mean, I would say it's not a perfect movie. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect movie, in my opinion. I think anybody says that there's a perfect movie is talking shite. There's no such thing as a perfect movie. But this is a near perfect movie, for me anyway. And without a doubt, in my opinion, the best British movie ever made. And one of the greatest cinematic moments ever. And it's a really good synergy as well of the fact that originally they were going to have British actors, but they got 2 American actors who knew this genre and knew each other so well, it just slotted into place perfectly. Even though, Orson Welles was only on set for 1 week.
Well, he needed a vacation and all that. But,
yeah, well,
very well done.
He got his jollies out of having a holiday, but he made the mistake of he was given a choice between taking a salary or taking a share of the profits. And he took the salary, not thinking it was going to be a success. And of course, the movie became a massive success. And for the rest of his life, he really regretted not taking a percentage.
Yeah, you gotta always take. Nowadays, you need to always take the share of the profits. Gamble, unless it's a. Oh shoot, I forget the director's name now. Never mind. B movie reference.
Trailer Park Sharks.
Yeah, unless it's something. Yeah, well, no, Sharknado got a cult following just because it's so ridiculous. People tuned in just to see how far they could go.
Yeah, all the B movie posers watch it because they think it's a B movie. It's like no.
It's a parody of a B movie.
I found that reference. There was. It was somebody called Thomas Riegler emphasized the opportunities for Cold War espionage that the Vienna set made available, and noted that the audio engineer Jack Davies noticed at least one mysterious person on the set. So the director used to be a spy, the writer used to be a spy, one of the producers used to be a spy. It was based upon people they knew who were spies. And while they were filming it, it was being used as a cover for British spying, and the Russians were spying on them while they were making the movie. So there you go. So the truth is stranger than fiction. But yeah, that's it. So ultimately, a fantastic movie, and what a great movie to to watch. And it was funny, it was filmed at this time 72 years ago. It was filmed in October and November. So it was this point in time. So that's why there's so many dark scenes, because obviously the short nights this time of the year.
You have the end with the leaves falling.
Exactly. So it was exactly this time of year.
Like you couldn't duplicate that. It's so perfect.
So again, the perfect time of year to film it for this kind of movie. And it was released, I think it was released a year after they'd filmed it. It was released in September 1949. And of course, a month after that, a month after the movie was released, the East Germany became a thing. October 1949, the East Germany became a thing, and the Iron Curtain fell. So you couldn't make a movie like that after that point. So it was like a 2-year window to make a movie about those 3 or 4 years between the end of the end of the Second World War, get me back straight, and the beginning of the Cold War. And that moment in time, they just caught it just in time.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I can't think.
Yeah, anything after that, it would have all been behind the Iron Curtain.
That's it. And sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I apologize. I was going to say my alcohol-laden brain just came up with Roger Corman coming back to the B-movie reference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as well, this movie, I think, set up things like the James Bond movies. Mm-hmm. It set up other movie genres as well, to do with espionage, but also, any type of. There's a lot of thrillers that drew on this for influence, the overall effect of the movie is that you can't just watch it once. I think if you watch it 2 or 3 times, you'll get more and more from it. There's loads more we could talk about this movie. There's tons of trivia that we didn't get anywhere near because there's just too much. There's too much to talk about with this movie. So I'm going to end it there and say thank you to both of my co-hosts, both to Ralph and to Flash. Thank you again for being part of the show. And
thank you for having us on.
It's Absolutely. A pleasure. It's a pleasure. And to think that, it's now over 1,000 subs. We're going to have to do, a movie on your channel next, Ralph. And there's a lot of different movies that you could do, and I think we should do one on your channel next.
All right, I have something in mind. I think we can work something out. You all brace yourselves, boys.
Well, and as well, I'd like to thank Sierra Whiskey, who came to watch the show and also was in the chat, and everybody else who came to watch as well. Might not have been in the chat, but everybody came to watch the show, and also to everybody who'll watch the show later on recorded. Very much a big thank you to all of you who joined the show, and what a great movie to celebrate with, because this is one of the very best movies, and this reminds me that cinema can be great if it wants to be. And despite the way cinema has gone recently, the way things have gone generally, this reminds us that cinema can be incredible if the people involved are really passionate about what they're doing and really put a tremendous lot of work into it.
And all kidding aside, we sincerely appreciate everybody that watches, everybody that comments. Without you all that appreciate the movies like we do, this is nothing. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right, well, I'm going to mute us all and play us out with this quick 2-minute video and intro, outro.
Ooh, does it have banjo?
It has a zither, And
close enough. Okay.
We'll play this as we go out, and then we'll end the show there. So to everybody who watched tonight and will watch recorded, thank you very much, and a big thank you to all of our fans and subscribers. It's a massive encouragement to us that you want to watch these shows and that you subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and hopefully more good content coming soon. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night, everybody.